I'm going to learn how to scooter. Gonna play every PS2 game, it's Kruncho! That sucked. Wish there was a way I could still scooter though. Wait.
Perfect.
From the moment you boot up Whirl Tour, you're promised a wild ride full of sick tricks and sweet tunes that are going to ooze style all over your scooter-loving self.
You mean I get to fight a small man while riding a scooter and listening to sick punk rock? Awesome!
Unfortunately, that's about as far as the Ratitude goes. Whirl Tour quickly turns into an experience that's as fun as it is forgettable, which is to say, not very. It's a frustrating, clunky game that fails to deliver on the Ratitude of the premise. Just what is Whirl Tour? Essentially, you, the player, are tasked with scootering around different levels in order to complete objectives, win races, and free your bandmates from the clutches of Dr. Skeezix. In order to get to each level, you'll need to complete enough objectives in the preceding levels. For stage 2, you'll need 3, for the third stage, you'll need 7, etc. The objectives are cumulative, so if you want to skip any at first, that's okay. Every level, excluding the last one, contains some version of the same 7 objectives. Essentially, they amount to getting a certain score, destroying objects, fighting bosses, and collecting tokens. After you destroy 3 objects unlocked by beating the level's bosses, you can challenge the level's racetrack, each of which having you face off against a lizard man who is much better at scootering than you. Winning these will free a band member, which is essentially the game's method of unlocking characters. You follow that basic formula, you do the objectives, you win the race, and you pretty much got a good grasp on the game. The only differing level is the last one, Tibet, where you need to beat Dr. Skeezix's high score of 1,000,000 points to win. There are some other things to do in the levels, mostly collecting the scooter tokens to unlock new scooters and the time trials. There's also a boss rush mode and multiplayer stuff, but I didn't feel like trying those honestly.
It all seems pretty okay. I mean, it's a little repetitive, but if the style is anything to go off of, it should be fun.
Unfortunately, the game kinda gets in the way of any fun you might have. Just moving around the map can be a chore. Say you have to get to the other side of the map. The fastest way to do that is by grinding, and you can have moderate success as long as the designers didn't put a weird corner into the rail, which they absolutely love to do, so don't always count on going the way you want it. Not only that, but the AI population of the map will hinder you as well. These citizens of the level may not slow you down a whole lot, but they can push you in some really weird ways, and they'll probably call you a chode after they walk into you. Or it could be a boss that will end your run prematurely when they hit for a ridiculous amount of damage. Also, the maps are really small, so it's usually just better to scooter on the ground, which also gives you better control. It's as if the game doesn't want you to do the objectives while also doing tricks, which leads to a bigger issue, the races. As mentioned before, the races are there to let you unlock new characters and are required to unlock the last level.
You might be thinking, oh sweet, I'll do a race around the level I just explored. Well, you'd be wrong. No, the race locations have nothing to do with the world where you unlock the race. Instead, they are these long tunnel segments that all have the same feel to them. Oh, look, this one has ice. Oh, look, this one's got bricks. Oh, this one has train tracks.
Wow, this is riveting stuff.
Also, you're always racing against the same lizard man. What are you saying, Dr. Skeagle? Couldn't come up with more than Lizard Man? The Lizard Man isn't even an unlockable character. Why not?
Come here, Whirl Tour. Whirl Tour, come here. A little bit closer. Come a little closer. Why do you have a Lizard Man in your game if you can't unlock him?
You already have the models for the other band members. Why not just race against those? God, it is such a tease. Anyways, the races are pretty straightforward. You get to the end by pretty much only performing grinds the entire way, and you have to do large combos on big jumps in order to get your adrenaline meter up. The races would honestly be my favorite part of the game. It feels like you're actually accomplishing something when you beat a race, except there are two glaring issues when it comes to the races. Firstly, the way collisions work in the game is kind of a mystery to me. Sometimes, when you hit a rail, you see, instead of doing a grind, you'll fall over. Why? Who knows? It's random and it really throws off the groove of the game. I'm sure this happens in the rest of the game, but it's most noticeable in the races. I can't tell you how many runs I had that were ruined. The second issue is the difference in difficulty between the races. There was one race that took me a cumulative total of 2 hours to beat with no indication of what I was doing wrong. The Lizard Man could just get so much speed on me, it was wildly unfair. And unfortunately, there's little in the way of help. The lizard will always ride the same scooter as you, and so you don't have a big advantage or disadvantage, so it's not like you can increase your odds that way. Most people will do the races chronologically, so it's not like a new character would help either. I could not for the life of me figure out what to do. Thankfully, the stream chat helped me find a shortcut that, while very hard to get to, proved to be exactly the thing that nudged the scales in my favor. The next race took me exactly 1 try. This sort of inconsistency creates a sort of dread about the next race you have to do. Will this one be easy, or will it take me 2 hours?
Well, to even get to the races, you have to do boss fights.
Fighting a boss on a scooter sounds awesome, right? Well, it could be, but not in this game. In Whirl Tour, the boss fights are repetitive and suffer from the same inconsistency the rest of the game suffers from. Damage you deal diminishes every time you use a trick, so get ready to try and use all of your tricks, even if you might hit the ground before the trick finishes. And that's if, you can hit them. The hitboxes often don't register, so you'll be guessing at what's going to hit the bosses the entire time. Damage given to you is seemingly random as well, sometimes being a small hit and other times being a massive amount of damage. And this isn't just a different attacks do different damage sort of thing. No, each boss only has one type of attack. On that, almost every level features one of each of the boss types, one that shoots and one that jumps, and you can essentially use the same methods to beat each of the level's bosses. It would be really boring if it weren't so frustrating, as you often get stun-locked into the boss's attack cycles. Okay, well, you can just dodge the attacks, right? Sure, if you can figure out how to maneuver the boss camera. According to the manual, you can activate the boss camera when you are near a boss in order to see their health and keep tabs on them. Side note, you can actually activate the boss camera anywhere on the map and it will just point you in the direction of the closest boss. It's not really a point here, it's just kind of broken. And when you do use it for its intended purpose, it more often than not will impede your progress on the boss. The thing is so janky. While the camera angle changes, your steering changes relative to the character, requiring you to change how you're steering. So even though you may be going towards the camera, if you move the analog stick right in boss cam mode, you'll start heading left. This, combined with the weird things the camera does when you go up ramps, really makes the whole boss fighting experience awful.
Now, say I don't want to do boss fights or races. I just want to spend time in the world, explore them, get that good feel of this very stylized game. Well, sure, you can do that if you're okay with exploring the levels in 3-minute bursts. Yeah, that's right. You only have 3 minutes to explore the level. Oh, I got 3 minutes to scale the world!
Some of you observational viewers may have noticed that there's been a timer on the top of the screen. Everything you want to do, you only have 3 minutes. Want to get all the CDs? 3 minutes. You want to get the high score? 3 minutes. You want to try and destroy things? Well, you better do it in 3 freaking minutes. Oh, and you took all of them to get 2 CDs and can't quite get the third? Well, you better do it all over again. Get good. The timer restricts the game into a sort of time trial for each objective, which, if you want to make your objectives all time trials, that's fine, but by restricting people's time in the levels to 3 minutes, you're really putting restrictions on exploring. Why would I try to get all the secrets in a place when it feels like a mad dash to get anything done? It really ruins the flow of the game, never letting you feel like you are actually interacting with the levels in any sort of meaningful way. Speaking of interacting in the world, the objects in the game are really weird to interact with. Here's a clip from one of my streams. Please ignore the aspect ratio, I'm kind of a dumbass. Oh. No, it doesn't count, I guess. That one doesn't count, huh? What is this stupid game? What the what? You know what? Let's try and knock over this water tower in the water park level. Okay, let's hit the leg. That should take it out. Okay, a trick into it didn't work. How about a manual? No? Okay, let's just run into it. Okay, what? Fine, we'll just go somewhere else.
Oh, I get it. I just have to not touch it to make it fall over.
This is seriously so weird. The game wants you to interact with the objects, but makes no attempt to demonstrate how you should do that, and this scenario happens over and over again. It's not the biggest deal once you figure it out, but it can be frustrating getting to that point, and with a 3-minute timer, you don't really want to spend the time trying to learn.
Okay. So the gameplay sucks, the timer sucks. There's got to be something redeemable about this game, right? How about the music? The music, you know, a game about a band should have a cool soundtrack, right?
Well, yeah, if you could, listen to the songs in their entirety, because you can't. This is another way the timer sucks the fun from the game. According to a cursory Google search, the average song is about 4 minutes long. Do you see the problem? Sure, you could say that since a lot of the songs are punk, they can be shorter, and some of them are, but regardless, you're still going to be cutting off a song. So unless you're doing a really gnarly combo when the timer runs out, you'll probably never hear the end of most of these songs. But you will hear the start of them, and to be fair, some of the starts are great. I find myself with these songs stuck in my head all the time. One cool thing the game does is introduce new songs as you complete the Get 3 CDs objective. Get those, get 3 new songs. But the joy is short-lived. You won't hear these new songs often, and you'll hear the songs on repeat in the same order, because as far as I can tell, there is no shuffle option. Sure, you can edit the playlist, but for 15 songs or so, it doesn't really seem worth it. And even when you get a good song, it's kind of distracting that some of the characters sound like this.
So the gameplay is bad, the timer is bad, the music is bad. What are you going to say next? It's racist? It's racist.
One of the bosses in the water park level, which, might I remind you, is the second level, is, well, for one, weirdly homophobic. Secondly, a really gross stereotype of an Indian man, which is not cool. Not only that, but in the movie set level there are 2 bosses. One, the incredibly anti-Semitic director, is an aggressive caricature of a Jewish director. It's also gross. The second boss is an alien. Okay, cool, an alien. Let me go check that out. Oh, wait, it's yelling in Spanish. Okay, well, what does he say?
Let me just put this into Google Translate real quick, and we'll figure it out. Yeah.
That's right, the alien is Mexican, because according to Whirl Tour, the Mexicans are aliens. They are not of this place, which is wild because... The game is littered with microaggressions. Like, hey, the main character is Asian American. That's cool. What's his name? Oh, it's Wasabi. They named him Wasabi. Or, you know, they named the black character Ice Mocha. Or the Latino character Rika. With Rastafari colors. Maybe she's from Jamaica, but you named her Rika. I don't really know, but it seems pretty fucking sus to me. That's not mentioning all the other really shitty stereotypes all over the game. Overall, the game is clunky and doesn't really seem to respect the player's time. It's not super fun, and the only fun that it could have had, you know, the music, is only good for a few tracks. And it's racist to boot. My journey to find the best PS2 game, I may have just found the worst. Hey everybody, thanks for coming on into this video. Thanks. It's my first one, and it means a lot that you watched it. Yeah, it's super cool. Hit the like button if you want. Subscribe. Hit that bell to get a notification when I post my next one. I stream the games that I talk about on Twitch. Link is in the description. Got a Discord and stuff. Come on by. Join that. We share memes and music. It's fun. Other than that, you know, follow me on Twitter. You know, all the fun places, you know, follow stuff. Anyways, thanks for joining. It's Kruncho, and don't forget to read the manual. Peace.